Hey everybody, this is Tyler Dockery. I want to touch base with you after week 6 for portfolio. There's a couple of things that keep popping up from time to time, and I'm just going to touch base on those. So if you've received a note about this, this email message is really for everybody. It's not about you specifically. First and foremost, the portfolio is not about you. It's about what you can do for clients. So make sure that the client's name is big and important, and then what it is that you do for them is slightly down below that. But most importantly, don't say I, don't say my, don't tell us that it's your campaign. This is really for the client. So feel free to tell us that Jimbotron wanted an advertising campaign that showcased the face of the product. That's great. Don't tell them I wanted to make a package design system. It's not important. Don't tell us what you wanted to do. Don't tell us what you set out to do. Tell us what you did. Make sure that you are showcasing the fact that you did these things, and remember that it's about the client. This is another item that has popped up for everybody almost entirely across the board. Spell check your work. If you make a spelling mistake and you get hired, it's only something that you're going to have to hear about the entire time that you work there. Everyone will always remember that you failed to misspell there. Grammar check your work, spell check your work, run a mom test. If you've gotten too many errors and you ran the mom test, you need to find a new mom to show your work to. That's not going to work out. Especially if you've gotten a notice on more than one project that you have misspellings, or if project 1 and 2 and project 3 and 4 have misspellings. That's a failure. 2 misspellings are what's often called a portfolio closing moment. They don't need someone who can't spell. They can hire anybody that can spell to do the work. Remember, in InDesign, edit, spell check. That's it. The end. Run your work through spell check, please. Second thing I want to go ahead and point out to you is a few of you have noted or have notes from me that why isn't there any new feedback, and why is it that you haven't made any changes since your early submittals? When you submit work early, I give you feedback so that you can make those changes and update it in the system. If you have failed to make changes, what was the point of submitting your work early? I'm just going to tell you the same items again. So make sure that you are making changes, make sure that you are adjusting your work. Make sure that you've gone back and made changes to projects 1 and 2, and look at the feedback from projects 3 and 4 and start making those now. All right, one other item here is I want you to go ahead and make sure that you have contacted your printers. Here in week 10, you're going to meet with me face to face, and then you're going to send your work off to the printer. It's week 7 now. That means in 3 weeks or so, you're going to be delivering your work off to another company, and then you're only going to see the final product. Many of you are going to have to pay before they start their work, and they won't give you a refund if you've made a misspelling. They won't give you a refund if you have failed to add bleed and there's a white mark down the side of the page. That will be your fault. Ask them about the lead time. How much time are they going to need? If you know you have to have it in my hands by 5 o'clock on April 2nd, our deadline, how many days is it going to take to ship back to you or to ship here to this location? You want to give at least 1 day wiggle room. After you know how long it's going to take to get here from the printer, how long does the printer need to have it, and do they count weekends? So if they need to have it for 10 days, they actually mean 2 weeks. That means you have to submit your work before the week 10 deadline. At least one person has talked with me about coming in early because they want to send their stuff off in the second week of March. So just be prepared. That time is almost upon us. Once you figure out how much lead time you need to get the work done, are you going to have enough time to make your changes? So work that in. What does their layout preference for the printing process look like? Do they want individual PDF pages? Do they want your work printed out in spreads? Do they want a single cover and then spreads for every page and then a single finish? Figure out what it is that they need. If you're doing a saddle stitch, do they want individual PDFs, or do they want you to set that up for saddle stitch ahead of time? Ensure that they want the PDF to work with. Let them know you will be providing a high-end PDF with high-resolution graphics set with full bleeds at size X, 300 or more DPI. And it probably wouldn't hurt if you were to send them one project that you have already completed and made all of your changes to, and ask them, is this the way you'd like to receive your material? Do you need all printer's marks, or will just the bleed and the slug area and the trim marks be required? Find out what it is that you need. All right, one final item here. We're looking at the Week 10 schedule. I'm going to be posting that document today. Sign up. You will each need a 1-hour time slot. It will be 45 minutes to an hour. Every piece in your portfolio will need to be printed out in black and white at full size with bleeds. So if you're an 11 by 17 piece of paper, you need to print out at probably 13 by 19, unless you can find a place that does 12 by 18. You'll need to trim all of your pieces down by hand. This will give you an opportunity to check that your type isn't horsey and that you have good kerning throughout. Remember, no hyphens unless you absolutely positively have to have them. No widows. Try to stay away from materials that are going to cause you problems. Week 12, you are going to be required to have your online portfolio finished, your print portfolio finished, your resume and your business cards, and we're going to want to see a process book. You'll learn a little bit more about that this week. All right, everybody, I look forward to seeing your work. Please reach out to me if you have questions, and as always, design your future.